Hello all, myself Vedangi and I'm a legal intern at Lexis and Company, and my another topic for today's discussion is the case analysis of Force versus Harbotel. So Force versus Harbotel cases are leading English precedent in company law, and according to the rule laid down in this case, if any loss is suffered by the company by the negligent or fraudulent actions of the members or the outsiders, then the action can be brought in respect of such losses either by the company itself or by way of derivative action. Now, talking about the facts of this case, so Richard Foss and Edward Turton were the two minority shareholders in the Victoria Park Company, which was set up in September 1835 to buy 180 acres of land near the Manchester in order to transform it into a park known as Victoria Park, Manchester. And subsequently, in 1837, an act was passed by the Parliament through which the company was incorporated for the purpose of laying out and maintaining the ornamental park within the township of Charlton. And according to them, the property was misappropriated and wasted, and also various mortgages were given improperly over the property of the company, and both the shareholders decided to take a legal action on the behalf of themselves and all the other shareholders or proprietors of the shares in the company, and therefore they filed a claim against the directors, the 5 directors of the company, solicitor, and also against the assignees of the company who became bankrupt. Now their claim was based on the following ground. The first ground was the fraudulent transactions through which the assets of the company were misappropriated. The second ground was related with the insufficiency of qualified directors in the company who can actually make up the board, and the third ground was that the company had no clerk or office. So due to these circumstances, the shareholders had no power by which they could take the property from the hands of the directors, and therefore had to commence legal proceedings against them. So basically, the issues that were raised in this case were whether the members of the company can file a suit on behalf of the company or not, and can the guilty parties be held accountable for their wrong deeds or not. So there were certain arguments that were raised on the part of the petitioner. So it was argued by the plaintiffs that the company should not be treated as an ordinary company, as it was incorporated by the parliament, and the act of incorporation was passed with the aim to benefit the company. But the directors basically tried to fulfill their own interest, and they further argued that directors should have acted as the trustees of the company and should be held accountable for misappropriating the assets of the company. So this act basically enabled the directors to sue those people who caused any harm to the company, whereas it did not give any right to the members of the company or outsiders to sue the board of directors. Whereas it was argued by the defendants that the plaintiffs do not have any right to bring a legal action against them on the behalf of the company. Now, what was held in this case? So in this case, Vigram VC dismissed the claim of the shareholders and held that individual shareholder or any outsider of the company cannot take any legal action against the wrong done to the corporation, as both the company and the shareholders are considered as separate legal entities. And also it is mentioned in the Companies Act that a company may sue and be sued in its own name, and a member may not take any legal action on behalf of the company. And if a company has a right against a party under a contract, then it is for the company to sue. So the reason that the shareholders of the company cannot sue is that company is the one who has actually suffered the injuries and not the members. So it is on the company to sue or take any legal action against those members who have misappropriated the property. And he also followed the judgments passed in older cases on the unincorporated companies and insisted the minorities to show that they have exhausted all the possibilities of redressal within the internal forum, and therefore in effect to that the two principal rules were established by the court. First and foremost rule was the proper plaintiff rule, which laid down that if any wrong done to the company or company suffers any loss due to the fraudulent actions of the directors or any outsider, then in such a situation only the company can sue the directors and in order to enforce the right, whereas the members of the company or any outsiders cannot sue on the behalf because of the principle of separate legal entity. And the second rule was majority principle rule, which laid down that if the wrong can be confirmed or ratified by a simple majority of members in the general meeting, then in those cases the court will not interfere. Therefore, in order to mitigate this harshness, 4 exceptions to the general principle have been laid down where the litigation will be allowed. So the first and foremost exception is where the alleged act is ultra vires and illegal. Second exception is concerned with the situation where the alleged act could only have been validly done or sanctioned in violation of a requirement in the articles by some members of the special majority. The third exception is related with the alleged acts that cause invasion of the claimant's personal and individual rights in his capacity as a member of the company. And last but not the least, the fourth exception deals with the situation where a fraud on minority has been committed by the majority who themselves control the company. So these exceptions help in protecting basic minority rights that are necessary to protect regardless of majority's vote. So what we can conclude from this entire case is that a company is a legal entity that is given a different legal body rather than the members who created, that is the company's owners, and the company's decisions are made on the behalf of the company by the member owners and the BODs. So the group also make decisions on seeking lawsuits, and as per the Companies Act 1956, the corporation is governed by the shareholders who own most of the shares, and the majority theory is accepted in Force versus Harbotel, which is a groundbreaking case, and the majority of the shareholders vote was binding on the minority, and this theory has since been replaced, and under the Companies Act 2013 minority owners have been granted more control. So there have been like several instances of minority shareholders discrimination, and the Companies Act 2013 has even provided for the protection of the interests of the minority shareholders, which can be called as a game changer in the battle between majority and minority shareholders. So guys, that's all about my discussion on this entire case. I hope you all liked my video. If you guys have any doubt with regard to this video or to the previous one, then you can comment in the comment section. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel Let's Click. We will meet in the next video. Till then, bye.